1-800-FOOD-RUN, helping you with your food stuff. 1-800-FOOD-RUN.
Welcome back to 1-800-FOOD-RUT. I'm your host, Asia, and I'm here to help you with your food stuff. I think sometimes I do it on this right side, your food stuff. Either way, in this episode, we're going to be making a dish that I consider to be a simple. I know simple is different for everybody, but you know, it is really simple. As you see, we got minimal ingredients here. So we're going to be making shrimp in marinara, and I'm going to be using a thin pasta for that. I'm pretty sure there might be a name for this dish in a particular culture's cuisine. Maybe Italian, maybe Mediterranean. I don't know. But I'm going to tell you how I got to stumble upon making this dish this way. So before we get into that nice, lovely story, let's get into the ingredients. Let's get into the ingredients. The ingredients. We've got shrimp. We've got some pasta. I'm using, I think this is called Capellini. It's a thin pasta. You can also use angel hair pasta. This kind of reminds me of angel hair pasta. And it's going to be crazy if this is actually what angel hair pasta is called in the Italian language, but just a thin pasta. They also have like thin spaghetti. I've seen that before. So any thin pasta. An onion, a garlic clove, some tomato sauce, salt, garlic, no, that's not garlic powder. I might want to put garlic powder in there. Salt, black pepper, and a bay leaf, which is optional. So let's get into prepping for this dish and me explaining to you how I got here and all that good stuff. All right, okay. So I just cut off a little piece of my onion because like we don't need that much. Don't need that much onion, so we just gonna cut off some pieces and get to it. So I'm gonna try to get like thin cuts. So if you know the trick, you just slice it in half. I guess that's like parallel to you, or horizontally, which is left and right. And then you're gonna turn it around and do thin slices at the top. Thin slices. Well, yeah, these are like little slices. And then you're gonna go back and cut on that horizontal plane. If you ever wonder what do I be cutting on as it's moving and grooving, you tuck my fingers. So chop my nails by mistake. This is parchment paper, which looks like wax paper. I feel like they changed how they do it. But typically I use wax paper or parchment paper. I don't really use what do you call those things? Cutting boards. I used to use cutting boards a lot, but I kind of got away from it. And I really don't know why. But I just don't even use them. I just use wax paper for so much. Anywho, that wasn't the story you were supposed to hear. So how did I get to this? So typically I make marinara sauce. And with marinara sauce, you usually are cooking it for a longer period of time. And that's what I was planning to do the day that I discovered this. And I was like moving around and doing a whole bunch of stuff while I was cooking. So I didn't pay attention to the fact that I had my skillet up so high. And I just put this, put it in the pan, put my tomato sauce in the pan. And I was like, shh, still didn't register. Like, wait a minute, love. We don't put our tomato sauce in at this point. Still didn't register. So again, like I said, I was just doing my little thing or whatever the case may be. And I just kept it at the high temp. And I was like, okay, because it had reduced so much. And I was like, yeah, if I try to do my other method in the back, I'm not going to have that much tomato sauce to make the marinara, because essentially when you cook it high, you're evaporating the liquid that's in it, and that's what essentially makes it thicker. And I was like, yeah, I don't think I need to do that. So I was like, I'm just gonna have to stick with this. And it was really good. It helped knock out that acidity that sometimes is in tomatoes. Like, they could be really acidic. So it knocked it out. And I was like, I think I'm gonna be doing this from now on. So I'm gonna show you how I did it. So that is what we have. So essentially we're about to make a quick marinara sauce. That's all we're about to do. So now we got that. We're gonna move it to the side, and we're gonna move on to preparing the marinara sauce. So the method to see if your pan is ready, if you're using stainless steel, is to splash it with water. You want it to bead up into little balls of water, which I had to learn the hard way when I first started cooking with stainless steel. I will admit, I'm still not a fan. Still not a fan. But here we are. So we got us some olive oil is what I just put in the pan. You can definitely use canola oil. It doesn't really matter. The oil doesn't matter here. We're gonna add in both our onion and our garlic. Typically, you just add in your onions first, and then you add your garlic in at the end. This is something that burns quickly, and you obviously do not want burnt garlic. But like I said, this is a quick meal. We got to make this marinara sauce. I usually let it cook for about 7 to 10 minutes. The pasta that we have, because it's so thin, it's only going to take 3 to 4 minutes to cook. Then I cook the shrimp in the pasta, which you're going to see me do. I mean, in the pasta, in the sauce, and that only takes less than 10 minutes. Less than 5 minutes, about, let's say 5 to 6 minutes if you want to be on the safe side, because you don't want to overcook your shrimp because it will get rubbery. But anyway, I just wanted a little bit of color on there, and that's what we got. And so that's why I said this is a quick meal. Why I'm saying an okay. Because it doesn't take that long. And it's like, while you're prepping everything, get your water boiling for your pasta. By the time it's at the... I knew it was going to splash on me. That's why I was like, we're not wearing anything light color because it's going to splash. Now, I will say that. You got to be mindful of that. Because you are cooking it on such high temps, it's going to be like... Pew, 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 pew. So you might have to wipe your counter down. You know what I mean? Don't wear something like this. I almost wear something cream. I was like, I love wearing something cream or light color when I'm cooking with something that stains. But anyway, go and let this cook down for, oh no, not be hot. Okay, it's not even that hot in here. Anyway, I need to turn my AC on. But we're gonna let this cook down for 7 to 10 minutes. More like 7 minutes. And then I'm gonna come back and I'm gonna cook this shrimp in here. And we're gonna be eating. Okay? Clearly, I was that tripping. Because we do not do blend in this here household. We season our things. So we're going to add just a little salt. A little black pepper. And because I love garlic, I'm adding some garlic powder. Yeah. Because I love garlic. Not too much. And then an optional bay leaf. Oh, also if you want to make this spicy, which I think I'm going to wind up doing, I'm going to add some red pepper flakes. So any type of peppers that's going to add spice, you can definitely add that in here. I can't believe I almost forgot to season it. I was like, something is missing. Now, something is my seasonings. Hello, girl. We don't do blending in this household. All right. We're almost done. So I had to turn it down because it was doing a lot of... But now we're going to add in our shrimp. So in my shrimp, I seasoned them with a little bit of salt and pepper, as well as garlic powder. So we're just gonna let the cooked shrimp, we're gonna let the shrimp cook. And when we come back, am I gonna show you me tossing it in spaghetti? I don't think so. But let me give you some more options. You can definitely thin off the sauce if you want it to be a little bit thinner. I feel like if you add a splash of wine, it will be good. Also, because I'm using shrimp, because this kind of marinara sauce is kind of good for, for seafood. I'm like, what word am I looking for? So if you did thin it out just a little bit more, I feel like you can definitely get away with like scallops, with mussels, clams, all of that. With the pasta. With the Capellini pasta. This would be amazing. Anywho, let me go cool down because clearly I need to turn my air conditioner on because I'm on here cooking. And I'll be back. I thought I wasn't going to show you this part, but here we are. So as you can see, it's thickening up just a little bit more, but no worries. Adding the pasta is going to help because it got a little water on it. I may have made too many. You know what? Me and pasta. I'm going to just do this much and then see. Because sometimes, I swear, I be like, well, I can also, I swear, I be like, I think I make just enough pasta. And it be like, no, girl, you made too much. Or you didn't make enough. Even though you can literally measure it out. But I think that's a good amount for me. Yeah, this is a good amount for me. For 2 portions. Also, I do like stainless steel because you can use stainless steel utensils and not have to worry about it. But still not a fan cooking with them. Cooking stuff like this, I am. But when it comes to like hash browns, I don't know. I do all the tricks of the trade. My hash browns still be like, and guess what, girl? Us and the pan, we are now one. And I'll be like, well, you can have it. Because I don't want it. Anyway, let's get to the end while I'm cooking it. Well, cooking it while I'm eating it. And we're done. Yum, 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 yum. You know, I had a little put a little parsley in there. I was gonna chop it up, but a girl was like, we're gonna just do what we need to do. So let's just knock you down. See all our good little scrimps. These are, I think, designated the Colossal shrimp. I get them from, I was going to say Old Navy. If I get some shrimp from Old Navy, we got a problem. Whole Foods. I think it's their 1620. These are the same ones that I use when I make my shrimp boil, which I will be having at the end of this whole week. Anyway, let's give it a taste. Light. I'm sorry, because I want my mouth full. Light and refreshing. I don't know why I get that shrimp like that. Yeah. Doing exactly what it needs to do. Come on, let me put you all together. This is so good. It's like the sauce isn't heavy. Because typically when you just start marinara sauce, like I said, because you're cooking for a long time, it does add depth of flavor, which kind of gives it a heaviness. And also, it does thicken it up a bit. But this is light, and I like it just coats the pasta, which is why I use thin pasta, any type of thin pasta, because I'm like, I just want something to just coat it. And I don't know, maybe most people know this, but the different types or cuts of pasta have to do with like the sauce or the way you're going to use it. So yeah, so it's like if you have lighter sauces, then use thinner pastas, and then if you have heavier sauces, then that's when you use like thicker pastas. Also, you can use the thicker sauces, or pastas for thicker sauces, the one with ridges in them too, because they're like a hold on to it. So it really just kind of depends on what you are with sauce, the thickness, the viscosity of the sauce, if I could talk, and how you're preparing it. And you know what that means, because it's time for me to eat lunch. So hush them lips and say goodbye. So with that being said, goodbye. A little bit of a champagne for you. Enough. I'm joking. Bye.